The world now trembles under the shadow of annihilation titans, and kaiju strike without warning, emerging from the depths to shatter everything in their path. Humanity stands on the brink of extinction, forced to forge modern weapons and unleash heroes imbued with extraordinary power to shield us from doom. These fierce warriors dive headfirst into battle, hunting down weaknesses and delivering decisive blows with swift precision, their every move choreographed to spare the cities from ruin. While the world's eyes fixate on these champions, behind the scenes, the unsung heroes of cleanup crews collect samples and clear the monstrous remains. Among them is Kafka, a ghost in the shadows, unnoticed yet tirelessly mending the scars left by these beasts. Though unseen and unheard, Kafka and his team wage their own silent war against the deadly remnants, where even death harbors hidden dangers. It's a battlefield of grit and resilience for these quiet warriors. On this day, a newcomer stumbles into this grim world, unaware of the perils as he lifts a heap of corrosive guts. Thankfully, Kafka's warning saves his life by a thread. Cleaning that viscous nightmare takes over a week of relentless overtime, draining the spirit of even seasoned veterans. Kafka, worn but steadfast, bears the brunt of the most grueling tasks, gutting the foul remains that no monster has yet expelled. Though repulsed, he endures, for without this work, there is no pay. So he grits his teeth, pushing through the stench to find a moment's rest. The vile odor turns his appetite to ash, while the television broadcasts news of Captain Mina from Squad 3, a legendary warrior of the nation, and a dear friend who, like Kafka, has lost family to this hellish war. Yet now, their lives diverge like parallel worlds, and all contact has faded. The next day, Kafka is assigned a new rookie, Ichikawa. Ichikawa dreams of joining the combat forces, just like Kafka once did, but unlike his fiery aspirations, he's resigned his dreams due to his frailty and lack of talent. Stuck in this grim cleanup crew, Ichikawa vows never to give up, longing for the day he can fight outside. On his first day, he's thrown into the gruesome task of gutting with Kafka, whose patience is tested as the rookie becomes his reluctant apprentice. Ichikawa's very first encounter with the monstrous innards fills him with a nauseating, oppressive aura. The veterans never eat before these shifts, fearing the sickness that follows. Thankfully, Kafka offers his younger comrade a special restorative drink, replenishing every vital nutrient. With his mentor's unwavering support, Ichikawa slowly steadies himself against the grim reality. That day marks their final gutting mission for a while, with the following days promising an even tougher grind. Ichikawa thanks Kafka for guiding him through his filthy initiation, sensing the older man's lingering desire to fight on the front lines. He shares news of the age limit extension for combat registration, now up to 33 years old. Kafka, still under 30, still dreams of taking up arms. Encouraged by his rookie's words, Kafka feels a bittersweet joy-hope mingled with sorrow. But no sooner does hope arise than a monster attacks his family home, threatening to snatch away the ones he holds dear. Twice, Kafka snatches his brother from death's grasp within a single minute. Desperate, he orders his brother to flee for help while he leads the beast away, clinging to the memory that once, he too was a hero. A dream to become a warrior, his skills sharp, knowing exactly how to save himself the moment he shook off the Kafka monster. Leaping from the heights, memories flood back to the days when Mina and he lost everything precious. Together, they vowed to become warriors of the Defense Force, fueled by a belief to wipe out the monsters and protect humanity's laughter. Promise made, and then he dove headfirst into the grim work. Working as a corpse cleaner, the irony bites deep. The monster clings on, forcing him to take a desperate risk. How could he fight something that massive with only an iron rod in hand? Kafka takes a blow that feels like a death sentence, as if he's already reincarnating into his next life. But at death's edge, Ichikawa refuses to abandon his senior, rushing back to aid him 2-against-1. Not bad odds if this were a battle between humans. But this isn't human, it's a monster. Even if a dozen joined, it wouldn't make a dent. Knowing this, Men tries to send his younger brother away, but he won't listen. This time, Captain Mina and the White Tiger team arrive just in time. With a single strike, she slays the beast and calls in the cleanup crew. Only now can Kafka close his eyes in peace, taken to the hospital with his organs intact though missing a leg. Thinking about being saved by Mina, he feels a sting of sadness. He didn't even leave a scratch on that creature. Ichikawa, lying beside him, silently thanks her again. Without her, he doubts they'd be alive today. Praised for his courage, Kafka finds some comfort and motivation, vowing to keep chasing his dream. But before he can savor that, a strange monster appears, declaring, "You can't escape, boy," before swallowing Kafka whole. Unable to fight back, Kafka isn't killed but granted the ultimate form of a true monster. Ichikawa hears the strange noise, pulls aside the curtain, and sees a scene that makes him wish he had died that very morning. Yet, Kafka, even in monster form, holds onto his consciousness, and calls out to his brother for help. Suddenly, an old man spots them and calls the police, sending both into a frantic escape before being captured. Memories from the past flood back. He and Mina once lived supporting each other, joyful despite losing all their loved ones. Kafka was her pillar through the pain. Now, she receives news of a monster at the hospital and prepares to fight with her team, all armed to the teeth, focused on the monster's location. This time, things are about to get deadly. In monster form, Kafka panics, unsure what to do. Ichikawa tries to ease tensions by joking with the old man, but the irony is thick. This guy's a monster, yet he's cracking jokes. The old man faints out of fear. Kafka, worried, accidentally taps a wall, which shatters like fragile glass. His monster form has amplified all his power beyond imagination. The noise draws everyone, making the situation worse. Ichikawa urges his brother to run fast without backup from the defense force. They're doomed. Kafka follows, gently pulling a door that nearly demolishes the entire building. Not feeling safe, he sticks close to Ichikawa. Both dash out of the hospital, seeking shelter. Kafka struggles to control his shifting powers, hungry enough to snatch a bird midair and devour it, making his brother queasy. Eating the bird steadies his body but brings an urgent need to pee. Ichikawa tells him to hold it, but in this monstrous form, Kafka doesn't even know if he has a bladder. Trying to relieve himself, what comes out isn't exactly what he expected. Flows from an entirely unexpected place, knocking him flat in humiliation. Who could understand such shame? He's ready to reincarnate just to escape this mess. His brother tries to comfort him. No worries, dude. 2 holes empty faster, right? That's the kind of twisted support only siblings give. They press onward until a loud noise halts them. Another monster has appeared nearby. Miraculously, Kafka recognizes it as the same species that attacked them earlier. Ichikawa sees this as a chance the defense force will split to handle both threats, which sounds like a plan. Kafka is ready to turn back, but his conscience won't let him. On the other side, a child is in danger, her mother trapped, about to become a snack for the monster. Racing against fate, Kafka delivers a super-powered punch he can barely comprehend, sending the beast flying. Approaching the mother and child, he offers encouragement and lifts the heavy debris. Ichikawa arrives to escort them to safety, sensing danger still looms. The monster, dazed but not defeated, returns for revenge. This time, Kafka summons every ounce of strength within him and unleashes a single, devastating strike, with a power rating hitting the 1 billion mark. The beast is obliterated, reduced to nothing but fertilizer. His younger brother watches in awe, thinking if only he fought humans like this, they'd be unstoppable. Kafka's fierce appearance even scares the little girl, who soon learns to say goodbye as the defense force nears. Kafka plans to vanish, but the heartfelt thanks from the child's soul touches him deeply, reminding him of Mina's gratitude. This awakening fuels his desire to journey alongside this girl, as promised. He shifts back to his human form and declares his will to survive. Soon after, Mina's team arrives, shocked at the scene. They ask the child about the monster, learning its story. Most surprising of all, the girl pleads for mercy for the monster who saved her mother. Mina is stunned. The scene shifts a week later. News of the special monster spreads everywhere. They codename it Number 8, linked to the 8 monster species known so far. Ichikawa keeps working as if nothing happened. His seniors congratulate him on passing the defense force recruitment. Kafka's acceptance letter arrives too. Ichikawa personally delivers it to Kafka, who is busy cleaning. Monster remains alone, calmly eating his meal in his ultimate form, unaware of the approaching defense force. Luckily, it's his brother who arrives, not the defense force, or it would have been over for Kafka. Recently, Kafka has grown accustomed to switching between his 2 forms, though still clumsy at times. He recalls that chaotic night and feels grateful they weren't suspected, thanks to the hospital's chaos. Passing the first recruitment round brings little joy, as he's failed the second round multiple times, leaving his brother speechless. What on earth just happened? It's comedy gold! The seniors are congratulating this kid. He's officially passed and can now become a guard. Kafka even got the official notice, personally delivered by Ichikawa himself. Meanwhile, someone's working early. Cleaning up monster remains alone, casually eating in their supreme form, completely unaware. Lucky for them, the arrival was their beloved younger brother. If it had been a guard, it would have been game over. Recently, Kafka has started to adapt to switching between his 2 forms, though he's still clumsy at it, occasionally messing up. He recalls that chaotic night. Luckily, the brothers weren't suspected, because the hospital was in total turmoil. Knowing he passed the first screening didn't bring much joy. He'd failed in the second round multiple times, leaving his younger brother speechless. Even though he knows danger lurks if his monster identity is revealed, becoming a beast has ignited an unbreakable resolvito chase after the image of that girl. He's determined to become a guard. About 10 days later, the first batch of candidates heads to the second test site, a vast guard base where civilians can evacuate in emergencies. But what if someone turns into a monster mid-exam? That's a life lost this round. At this moment, a blonde girl with a haughty air approaches, calling Kafka uncle. Well, with that weathered face, uncle fits. Even Ichikawa agrees the truth stings. The girl wants to chase them away, guarding her lucky spot. Kafka refuses to cooperate, so she takes matters into her own hands, activating her combat suit. Lifting their monster cleanup vehicle as if it weighed nothing, this girl introduces herself as Kikoru, a monster hunter with a hobby of extermination. She even sniffs Kafka's scent, which strikes frighteningly close to a monster, scaring both brothers stiff. The younger one tries to explain they're just cleaners, and the smell is inevitable. Then, turning around, the older brother casually lifts the overturned vehicle without his supersuit. Talk about raw strength. The truck, belonging to the two brothers, rises as light as a feather like a flamingo's down. She introduces herself as Kikoru, who has a passion for slaying monsters. Incidentally, she catches a whiff of Kafka's scent, which suspiciously resembles that of a monster, leaving the two brothers trembling in fear. The younger one tries to explain they're just cleanup crew, so the smell makes sense. Then they turn around to see the elder brother casually carrying the overturned truck without even using his special suit. That sight makes the girls scream in shock. While Ichikawa is fed up, why does he keep acting like this? If they get exposed as monsters, next year will be their funeral. Kikoru finds this uncle genuinely intriguing and wants to make him taste humiliation during the selection process. She leaves with a proud stride, driving the two brothers crazy with frustration, though it's more like a helpless fury than real anger. Ichikawa warns his senior, "Next time you pull something like that, I'm leaving you behind. It's just too dangerous." The exam begins, and they don't understand why his body can't keep up with the other candidates, even though he trains hard. Why is it so tough? After enduring the test of endurance, they face the physical fitness exam. Kafka still can't grasp why his strength has diminished so much, especially since he used to be in the top ranks. Kikoru, seeing him dead last, mocks him. "Already embarrassed this early, and you acted all strong at the intro, so fake." Just thinking about it makes her want to sink through the floor. Ichikawa consoles him, reminding him there are more tests ahead. He's glad his brother hasn't resorted to monster powers yet. The reason's simple. Seeing everyone else giving their all, cheating would be more humiliating than getting knocked out fairly. But then, the older brother insists on using his powers, scared of elimination, leaving the younger speechless. Chihuahua says the candidates this year are just too strong. It's not that the older brother became weaker. Mina, on the sidelines, spots Kafka's name on the list and looks thoughtful. Ichikawa tells his brother about the famous names among the applicants. According to him, they're destined to become commanders, not mere foot soldiers. The most formidable among them is Kikoru, hailed as the most talented girl in history. She's thrilled to see Kafka recognize her skills and dives into chatting, but her guards drag her away, leaving Kafka fuming at her attitude. Swearing revenge, he wonders if he can even pass the next test. Ichikawa encourages him they still have a chance, and luck is on their side. The next challenge is corpse cleanup, a task they're better at than eating rice, because after this no one can stomach a meal. That's why this younger brother joined the cleanup squad, to learn more about monsters. Excited, they start the next test, and fortune smiles on them. Again, it's monster extermination. Kafka turns to his brother, confused. "What's this about?" Kikoru laughs like it's harvest season, of course, because this year's entrants are top-notch. Suddenly, they're sending skilled fighters to do corpse cleanup? It's strange. Every candidate is equipped with a full combat suit for this mission. The tension is high, but the stakes are even higher. As they gear up, the strange blend of fear and excitement fills the air, knowing that this next trial might be their chance to prove themselves or fall apart. The story is just heating up, with every moment charged like a thunderstorm about to break. And as the battle against the monsters begins, the world they live in reveals itself. A brutal arena where only the strongest survive, but also where unexpected friendships and rivalries ignite like wildfire. Kikoru's laughter echoes, a reminder that talent alone won't guarantee victory. Heart and spirit will be tested beyond limits. In this crucible, who will rise, and who will be crushed? The journey isn't just about strength, it's about finding the light within the shadows. This armor isn't just protection, it's a symphony of strength tailored to each warrior's soul. Every health and power stat shines on display. Usually, candidates see only a modest 10-point boost when they wear it. But this year, many shattered that ceiling, especially Kikoru, whose power surged by a staggering 46 points. It's madness, absolutely terrifying. And then there's our guy Men, who hit a perfect score, but that perfection is a curse, because he didn't gain a single percent. History might remember this moment, this divine irony. The audience laughs their guts out watching this scene. Kafka's anxiety spikes, searching for any trick to boost his stat. She can't just be disqualified like this. He's not alone in worry. His brother and Kikoru are feeling it too. Kikoru, fierce as ever, faces off against Kafka strong and determined as they wheel their gear into the final test. Their target, a massive beast alongside 36 weaker monsters. This battlefield mimics real combat, with every contestant under watch. If their lives are threatened, rescue is swift, but that rescue means elimination. Kafka, lucky to reach this stage, steels himself for the challenge. Kikoru is the star player, sprinting along walls like walking on air, speed and skill untouchable. She dispatches monsters in seconds. Kafka shouts, urging his brother to speed up, yet when he turns, he sees his sibling dragging a heavy gun behind, speechless in awe and worry. Their power pales beside the others. At this rate, only 2 will survive. The overseer announces Mina is watching, so all candidates must shine if they want to join her elite team. Kafka's mind races. He must push harder because she's watching. Then he wonders aloud to Ichikawa, why does each have a drone following them? The sensors already warn them of monster attacks. It's more than just hunting beasts. They must adapt, strategize, and survive beyond brute force. If direct combat fails, support is key. Spotting a familiar monster, Ichikawa recalls its strengths and weaknesses from daily hunts. He uses a stun. Grenadier monsters are sensitive to sound and alerts the team. The weak spot is its belly. This team effort is praised by judges, and Ichikawa tries to rally his seniors for backup. But when he looks back, another monster has ambushed them. Even Kafka didn't expect such stealth. The damage dealt is massive. If his shield activates, he'll be eliminated. This is the last chance. Summoning every ounce of will, Kafka rises without relying on his beastly power. At his darkest hour, Kikoru appears, determined that no one on this battlefield falls. She rushes everywhere, aiding those in need. He's relieved yet stung, being seen as fragile, lying there soaking it in while others fight. Other candidates grow uneasy. Clearly, Kikoru's weapon feels supercharged compared to the rest. Back to mightiest, told his leg is broken, his insides possibly damaged and must forfeit. All progress wiped clean. But he refuses this fate. Usually cheerful, now cornered, his true strength bursts forth, nudging his stats from 0 to a miraculous 0.01. Mina notices not the number, but the fire in his eyes. Kafka manages to stand on his broken leg, shocking everyone. The judges let him continue but warn, if life-threatening danger arises, shields will activate and disqualify him. His brother urges him to go first. Ichikawa refuses to leave his side. Stubborn as ever, Kafka agrees and even carries him on his shoulders, a hilarious sight that cracks up everyone watching. They call this their fusion strategy, Ichikawa's physical strength paired with Kafka's tactics. Meanwhile, Kikoru has cleared the battlefield of monsters. Even the top warriors can't match her speed, power, and adaptability. No wonder she's hailed as the greatest young talent in history. She doesn't even need a gun, just a metal rod to defeat monsters that others require teamwork to fell. Kikoru now approaches the giant monster, Delta, ready to finish it. Destroying this beast ends the test immediately. She throws a stun grenade, then closes in swiftly. Before the creature can react, it finds itself underfoot, literally crushed. The main monster falls, signaling the contest's end. The brothers watch, hearts breaking. They barely made a dent. With no monsters left, drones retract for judging. Mina praises Kikoru's talent, even surpassing rumors. The test was meant to last 30 minutes, but with Kikoru, everything flipped. No serious injuries except Kafka's. This is Kikoru's battle style, proud yet humble. Suddenly, she's attacked by a humanoid monster. Kafka and the others prepare to retreat, but the slain monsters have evolved and risen again. Yet, Kafka senses a greater threat from Kikoru's side. Though shot in a vital spot, her advanced armor saved her life and healed her instantly. Shocked, she sees the humanoid monster speak with intelligence. When she recovers, it strikes her limbs, crippling her movement. Her agonized scream rings out a warning bell for everyone inside. Chaos erupts as monsters resurrect, spiraling out of control. Mina and Hoshina jump into battle to regain order. The humanoid monster retreats, leaving Kikoru to face a massive beast alone. Besides Kafka, this is Kikoru's fighting style. She proudly boasts about her achievements, until suddenly attacked by a humanoid monster. As Kafka and the others prepare to retreat, those defeated monsters begin to evolve and resurrect. But Kafka senses an even greater threat from Kikoru's direction. Though she's been shot in a vital spot, her high-tech suit keeps her alive and heals her instantly. Shocked, she sees the humanoid monster speaks with intelligence. It attacks again, targeting her limbs, paralyzing Kikoru. Her agonized scream rings out a warning bell for everyone inside about this escalating nightmare. The resurrected monsters are spiraling out of control. Mina and Hoshina rush into battle to turn the tide. The humanoid monster retreats, leaving a giant beast for Kikoru to handle alone. Despite her injuries, she refuses to run, determined to fight on. But the beast overwhelms her, almost delivering a death blow. Memories flood back since childhood. Kikoru was a prodigy, excelling in every field, yet starved for familial love. Her father, burdened with the nation's fate, saw her becoming top of the class as nothing special. After all, she was destined to inherit the country's future, replacing her late mother's role. These pressures forged Kikoru's resilient spirit, the fierce warrior she is today. Though gravely wounded, her resolve remains unbroken. Her story is one of strength born from sacrifice and loneliness, a battle not just against monsters outside, but the void inside. In this crucible of pain and duty, she fights not only for survival, but for the hope of a better tomorrow. Even as the weight of destiny bears down, Kikoru pushes forward, embodying the relentless spirit of a true guardian. Her struggles remind us that sometimes, the toughest battles are not just physical, but the ones waged within our own hearts. If you've ever felt crushed by expectations or loneliness, take a moment to breathe like Kikoru. You might find strength in your scars. Her spirit was fierce, though broken bones splintered her hands. She fought on, gripping her gun until it slipped away. That monstrous creature sprouted twin horns, its forbidden weapons revived by that dark resurrection. Death loomed inches away, plunging the young woman into despair, tears falling as she grappled with the weight of disappointing her father. Just as she prepared to meet her elders, Kafka appeared, praising her fierce strike. He intercepted the monster's attack, leaving his sister stunned. Transforming into a fearsome beast himself, he exuded raw power. Meanwhile, their comrades retreated in unison except Ichikawa, who dashed the opposite way, chasing after an older brother. But when urgent news arrived, Kafka had vanished. He knew his brother's fate was sealed. Kafka, now fully transformed, charges to save the young woman. Called a monster, he finally awakens to his true self and falls to his knees, pleading with her to keep this secret locked away. The relentless beast attacks again with deadly skills, but they're meaningless against such overwhelming strength. Kafka's determination to end this battle burns brightly just as the defense forces arrive. The power he unleashes shocks those monitoring from the control room. Energy readings spike to 9.8, leaving Hina skeptical, dismissing it as just an explosion. No creature could wield such power. Luck favors Kafka, as the surveillance drone malfunctions, failing to relay visuals. When the beast charges, Kafka strikes with a punch packed with billions of force points. The creature, tough as it is, barely holds on before being blasted away, leaving only 2 legs standing. Kikoru watches the terrifying scene frozen in shock, speechless. Once again, she's saved by her older brother, who gently checks on her well-being. In moments like these, a bright smile can heal wounds no words can touch. The young man reminds his sister to be more cautious, though he himself should watch his own back. Ichikawa arrives, scolding his reckless senior, warning that if defense forces discover this form, it might be the end for him this lifetime. By day's end, Mina and Hoshina witness the monster's remains scattered everywhere. They're convinced Kikoru couldn't have caused this, she's not strong enough yet. Meanwhile, the other 3 return safely, signaling the battle's close. Treatment begins. Kafka, tired of hospital stays, longs for normalcy, while Kikoru escapes life-threatening danger thanks to top doctors and cutting-edge tech. Even Kafka envies her recovery speed, but hey, surviving is the real victory. Whether they pass or fail remains unknown, but joy takes precedence. Mina overhears his heartfelt thoughts before stepping forward to thank those who brought Kikoru back. Kafka wants to say more, but senses the moment isn't right. Kikoru wakes, greeted by Hoshina's warm inquiries about the battle that sent the demon flying. She recalls her grandfather's smile and fibs about defeating the creature alone, though Hoshina isn't convinced. The scene shifts to the humanoid beast receiving news. No casualties. Shock register, she's human too, much like Kafka, and even part of the cleanup crew. Sometime later, Kafka recovers and returns to work with the cleanup team. Anxiety lingers as no word arrives about their success or failure, leaving Ichikawa the sole voice of encouragement, though he seems a bit crazy about it. Just then, a package arrives for them both. Suddenly, their focus sharpens, anticipation building as they prepare to unwrap what lies inside. End of segment. Men knew deep down, whether he cried or laughed, this moment might be the last time he could stand beside Mina in the future. It all hinged on this single paper. When he finally opened it, it didn't disappoint. Almost all the candidates they recruited had gathered, mostly those who had activated armor over 5 PH Street length. Some were curious about Kafka, but he was nowhere to be found. Kikoru arrived as well. T was in high spirits, having topped the exams, admired by many but also chased by rivals eager to surpass her. Especially R, that young powerhouse, leader in physical strength. Haruchi was surprised and eyed the second spot, but it seemed out of reach now. Ichikawa made friends with a new guy named Iharu. Soon after, the parade ceremony began, with Mina taking the stage. Mina was the voice welcoming these elite soldiers. Kikoru was praised for being the top scorer, having defeated the most monsters without losing a single comrade. Mina admired her dedication to serve to the last breath, but the younger one wasn't pleased because the monster they defeated was Ka's doing, and he wasn't here. To add insult, she received comforting smiles that only annoyed her more and made her want to question him about his monstrous state. Just then, the main character appeared late because a morning mishap with spicy soup led to an urgent bathroom break, his passing partly owed to Hina's recommendation. Sharp as ever, he sensed something shady about Kafka and wanted him on board to uncover the truth and learn from Men's deep knowledge of monsters. Men's contribution was solid, but the real trump card was his unmatched wit. Captain Hoshina pressed the button to select him, though he wouldn't be a full soldier like the others but a reserve, undergoing retraining. Some were intrigued by this older brother figure. Mina then shared the harsh reality of soldier life. The monsters grew fiercer and stronger with every battle. No one could predict if the next mission would be their last. Recently, there were even cases of dead monsters being resurrected. As squad captain, Mina urged everyone that their sacrifices would be honored by the nation. Families of the fallen would receive generous benefits, so there was no need to fear death. Just as she spoke solemnly, men cracked a joke promising to stand by her side soon, which shocked the entire room. Only Mina was moved, though she couldn't afford to soften and call him by name. She warned him not to be so cheeky, daring to address a superior so casually. Hoshina laughed heartily, thrilled to see the chosen one so overwhelmingly confident. Kafka was punished with 100 push-ups for his clueless antics. Hoshina then recalled the events of that day. When the system detected an extreme energy surge, a survival signal vanished. He thought that person was the jokester older brother. Kikoru tried to pull him aside for a talk, but he refused. She wanted to discuss it right there but got kicked instead. The younger brother was fed up his brother couldn't remember anything about his transformation in front of her. The three gathered at a cafe to talk about how he accidentally consumed a monster and became a freak. Knowing her foolish brother wanted to be cured to normal, Kikoru advised abandoning that hope. If the defense force found out, two things could happen: immediate execution or being dissected in a lab. The first was more likely because when a strong monster dies, it leaves materials for making powerful weapons. Hearing this, Cha freaked out and begged Kikoru to keep this secret to her Gravia secret just between them. She was speechless but agreed. After all, being saved meant owing a debt of silence. Yet if they confirmed he had harmful intentions toward humanity, they'd be forced to act. A classic case of repaying kindness with suspicion. So what about Kafka? He smiled brightly, willing to let Kikoru be the one to kill him if things went south. The next day, the young soldier training began. Ichikawa grew more comfortable in battle gear, boosting his strength by 18 pH. Ihu, seeing his new friend surpass him, grew jealous and pushed himself to beat him, and he did. Kikoru, activating her hacker bloodline, powered up to 55 pH and teased the two, saying their combined strength still couldn't match hers, making them furious. Today's top performer was still Kafka, rising from 0.01 pH to a solid 1 pH, truly unstoppable. Kikoru eyed him with a mix of awe and fear, then dashed away. Just as she was happy to catch up to her own 55 pH, she got warned. If Kafka didn't become official in 3 months, he'd be kicked out. The kids found this hilarious. After training, they relaxed and bragged about their strengths. Kafka was confident his dense muscles would make him strong fast. But after flexing for a bit, he blacked out, making Yaru laugh his head off. As they were about to have a friendly contest, Ao walked in with a perfect physique that made all three feel fragile and breakable. On the female side, Mina just finished her bath, and the juniors admired her. Kikoru, especially, was impressed by Mina's delicate frame that hid deadly power. Kikoru aspired to that lethal beauty, and was eager to learn Mina's training secrets. Mina was warm and approachable, unlike when dressed in uniform, teaching Kikoru some basics. Meanwhile, Kafka and the others shared why they joined the defense force, all grateful to Mina, their family looking up to her as a strong soldier to repay their captain. Hearing their stories was inspiring. When Scar revealed he and Kikoru were childhood friends, everyone was stunned. They had even promised to become bodyguards together. Before they could recover, men awkwardly blurted it out, ruining the moment. While others achieved great success, he was barely scraping by as a reserve soldier, unsure if he'd make it through this phase. In the following days, the group ran dozens of kilometers daily, pushing through grueling exercises designed to develop each individual's potential. Kafka, as a reserve, knew he had to try harder than everyone. After sprinting like mad, he spent nights studying battle strategies. Hoshina observed quietly, seeing no unusual moves, just Kafka babbling about Mina. Kafka declared, "This is a promise I must keep," sounding like he aimed to take over the vice-captain seat. At first, he hesitated, but then realized only by seizing that spot could he stand beside Mina every day. He set his sights on it, irritating Hoshina, who could do nothing but watch. Before leaving, Hoshina warned him not to get too close to other shinting at Kafka's secret. Suddenly, alarms blared, signaling a new battle about to ignite. An emergency drill kicked off under Mina's command. The current priority was evacuating civilians from the monster-affected area. And so it begins. The townsfolk are gripped by unease, their once peaceful neighborhood now overrun by colossal monsters. The local defense forces must join ranks with the army to confront this looming terror. This beast is unlike any before. It moves steadily in a direct path and spawns smaller monsters, multiplying the threat. To minimize destruction, the defense lines prepare a blockade to intercept the surplus creatures, while Mina takes on the critical task of hunting down the main monster. They've dubbed this mission Operation Sagamihara. The rookie squad steps into the fray for their very first battle, guided with stern resolve by Hoshina. After 2 months of grueling training, Kikoru's gaze lingers on her senior, struggling to grasp that this is the fearsome monster number 8. Kafka, catching her stare, retorts with a sudden bout of nausea that leaves everyone in the vehicle startled, already shaken before the fight even begins. Only our crazy squad could pull off a scene like this. Everywhere, preparations are in full swing. The rookies have taken their positions, eyes fixed on the battlefield. Surprisingly, this monster looks almost endearing, with multiple large mouths that seem to grin mockingly at them. The vice-captain reiterates the plan. Captain Mina will handle the main beast. The real danger lies in the dozens of offspring it births. These spawn are the true threat to the civilians. Their mission is clear: hunt down every stray monster spawned by the mother, ensuring none escape to wreak further havoc and economic damage. As newcomers, the rookies will cover the rear guard, picking off any stragglers the front line misses. Spirits run high, with shouts and cheers rallying everyone's morale. Meanwhile, the army has moved into position, ready to provide support. Ichikawa sends a message to his seniors as the teams split into 2 squads. Kafka pushes himself to step up officially before getting kicked out, feeling the heavy pressure but strangely no fear, only eager anticipation. Hearing this, his younger brother feels reassured. The surplus monsters are flooding into the CFA zone, and even Kikoru's frustration bubbles up. She's weak yet still acts like she's invincible. While everyone else leaps down aggressively, Kafka opts for a safer approach. Descending slowly has its limits compared to the young blood rushing headlong. Mina has taken her sniper perch. The frontline squad must lure the main monster into her sights. The army fires missiles as backup, but their impact is negligible. Without specialized rounds, these attacks hardly scratch the beast. The monster smiles as it advances slowly, but the destruction trailing behind is devastating. Meanwhile, the CKA group has moved to a different position. Unlike before, Kafka feels a surge of confidence. The suit responds perfectly, unlocking his full potential. Just then, a bug flies by, knocking him off balance. Is this little pest mocking his strength? Kikoru scolds the bug for showing off it's already weak. Why stir up trouble? The veterans sneer at the rookies, ordering them back to support and scout for weaknesses. Annoyed but determined, Kikoru snaps. All right, I'll shoot 'em down while you find their weak spots. She swiftly takes out all the visible monsters, leaving everyone shocked. Kafka praises his little sister. She's incredible. Kikoru blushes, embarrassed by the compliment. Yaru's team is holding strong too, thanks to the old soldier's support. He manages to bring down 2 monsters and, thinking he's accomplished enough, turns to see Ichikawa taking down another solo. It turns out Ichikawa has been using a special ammo that freezes the monsters. Though it's a bit weaker, the slow movement it causes makes them easier targets to finish off. Within the heart of this young warrior burns a serious desire to grow stronger, so that his senior never has to transform into a monster in this pond of chaos. Meanwhile, Haruchi and the others are locked in fierce competition, taking down a few beasts already. This stirs unrest among the veteran soldiers, overshadowed by the rising rookies. Even their squad leader can't deny it. This year's crop of newcomers is truly exceptional, each one brimming with raw power, sparking a rare joy. The rookie spirit, fueled by the strong group leading them, pushes even the weaker ones to strive harder. Yet, our own Muen still hasn't found a way to contribute. If this keeps up, the promise to stand shoulder to shoulder with Mina will fade like a forgotten vow. Driven by this, Muen decides to use his expertise in dissecting monsters to find their weak points, hoping his combat armor's power will make the task easier. Kafka uncovers a vital clue and immediately reports to the deputy squad leader. The monster's core lies at the nape of its neck. Strike there, and the beast can be felled with ease. But there's an even darker truth: these monsters have wings, meaning they can reproduce even after death. To ensure safety, their reproductive organs must be destroyed completely. Hoshina praises Muen's sharp insight in discovering the monster's wings, a revelation that will be shared throughout the army. Thanks to his efforts, they can now neutralize every threat. As Kafka moves to destroy the reproductive organs of the fallen monsters, he spots Mina preparing for battle. The Alpha Beast has arrived at the crossroads, signaling the army to retreat and let the defense forces finish the job. Mina locks onto her target, activating her armor's power to a staggering 96%. This moment reveals just how much she's pushed herself to reach such strength. Watching from below, her older brother's gaze fuels her determination. She wants him to see her true strength now. With her beloved cannon, she unleashes a blast carrying millions of points of power, piercing through the colossal monster's flesh. Witnesses are left speechless. Hina tells Kafka this is the strength of the man who vowed to stand side by side with them. After 2 shots, the alpha monster collapses, unable to regenerate. But Mina doesn't stop. She continues firing, wanting Muen to witness and learn, hoping he'll chase after her someday, maybe even marry her. The deputy squad leader approaches Kafka, asking if he's ready to give up. Standing beside Mina, Kafka imagines the power he'd need to match hers. He figures the deputy must be incredibly strong to hold that position. But the truth? Hina's strength lies in his swordplay, not in firepower like Mina's. He's witnessed the army's finest swordsmen slice the Alpha Beast into pieces in a single second. Their weapons are uniquely crafted for each prodigy. Then the next act begins. The alpha monster is dead, but its reproductive ability still functions. Thousands of baby monsters hatch, each with a bright, almost eerie smile. The rookies feel drained, while the veterans watch with a knowing grin. Their first mission's toll is heavy, and only battle-hardened endurance keeps the old soldiers strong. Hoshina believes that passing this first trial will only make the rookies stronger. Typically, a soldier can only activate up to 30% of their armor's power. Those who exceed this threshold are destined to become squad leaders. Currently, 2 stand out in Hoshina's eyes: Kikoru, no surprise there, and Ichikawa, who's constantly pushing past his limits. Even after 5 years of training before joining, Yaru still can't surpass this young man. After clearing the monsters in their zone, they rush to support other groups. Meanwhile, Tinko spots a corpse disposal worker furious because his implanted monster reproductive organ was discovered and removed. Suspecting an insider with monster knowledge, he plots to eliminate them. From afar, the disposal team tries to find Kafka and Ichikawa to cheer them on, but one member is missing. It's the same monster from before, though the others haven't realized it yet, until it shoots through Ihu. Ichikawa finally recognizes it as a humanoid monster, just like his cousin described. Shock ripples through them. This is the very monster Kikoru spoke of. Not wanting to return empty-handed, monster number 9 aims to capture them alive as specimens. Silver Hair tries contacting headquarters but fails. The area is sealed by a barrier that blocks all outside interference, a tool the monster now uses for hunting. Ichikawa takes 2 hits, stunned that the monster's attacks pierce through 2 layers of armor. This ability to dodge reveals to Monster 9 that Ichikawa can see its movements, a fact he learned from Kikoru during a surprise attack using fingertip strikes. When the monster's hand distorts, Ichikawa deliberately dodges and succeeds this time, returning fire with an ice bullet. Yaru rushes to call reinforcements. Monster 9, though reluctant, must obey his order. Saying mistake means being attacked by the monster. Staying means becoming a sacrifice for a comrade. Fear grips every cell within Ichikawa, but recalling the image of Ska's rescue fills him with newfound confidence. He charges forward like a man with nothing to lose, yet moves with precise avoidance. His attacks barely faze the slippery monster. Yaru scrambles to find an escape route, noticing his friend today is nothing like the man he was yesterday. The thought of running terrifies him. Earlier, rookies were warned about the 30% armor power milestone. Few surpass it, capping them as ordinary soldiers. The frustration of stagnation, while Ichikawa grows stronger, burns inside Yaru. Once saved by Mina, Ichikawa vowed to live strongly from now on, but this time he fled, slipping back into his old self. Meanwhile, Ichikawa can no longer hit Monster 9. The beast knows he's gleaned some secrets but still holds many unknowns, putting it in danger. Thankfully, Waiharu returns to assist, choosing to protect Ichikawa rather than remain the one always protected. Monster 9 realizes Silver Hair aimed to hold it back so the other could escape. It snarls nothing leaves without its permission. That number, an invisible wall few could shatter, condemned him to mere grunt status. The sting of stagnation burned deep as Ichikawa grew stronger each day. Once saved by Mina, the young man swore to forge a life of strength, but now he fled, slipping back into the shadow of his former self. Meanwhile, Ichikawa's aim faltered. He couldn't land a shot on the ninth monster. Though the creature knew Ichikawa gleaned some secrets from him, vast mysteries remained. Danger crept close, but salvation arrived. Haru returned to shield him. No longer content to be protected, Haru yearned to stand as guardian. The ninth monster caught on. The silver-haired figure had tried to stall him, letting others escape. It snarled, "Nothing escapes without its say." Realizing this, two comrades chose a desperate gamble if death awaited. They'd carve a memory worth remembering. Yaru, weaker, took rear support, while Yahara charged front lines, unleashing every ounce of power to end the fight. The 11th squad formed a trap, pinning the foe with special electric rounds. The ninth monster, irritated, aimed to finish the fight quickly. Thrown off balance, the creature's own trick backfired. A quick learner, the friend dodged, mimicking the move. As paralysis gripped the beast again, Ichikawa stepped forward, activating his suit's full power, praying for a miracle. Bullets, supercharged, rained down but couldn't pierce the corpse wall the ninth monster had conjured. When all else fails and the enemy stands unbroken, victory slips away. Ichikawa paid the price for his gambit. On the other side, news of 2 lost members stirred. Dread reinforcements were urgently called. Kafka's worry deepened hearing this, fearing for his sister. Kikoru's ominous feeling echoed memories of that first brutal monster attack. Their 2 friends were trapped in hell. Ichikawa desperately tries to heal his wounds to make a move, but his strength falters. Ihu fires support shots, but they're blocked. This monster has grown too familiar with simple attacks. Watching his friend suffer, pain grips him. Summoning every ounce of will, he fires his rifle, only for it to malfunction due to his weakened state. The monster, sensing Ichikawa's vulnerability, aims to kill own specimen is enough. But fate intervenes. A hero M bursts onto the scene, landing a crushing blow that severs Monster 9's head. A shocking twist, yet Silverhair refuses to let his brother transform like this. "Sorry for being late," he murmurs, ushering his brother to safety. With effort, Ichikawa warns, "Be careful, the enemy is strong." Monster 9 regenerates, its core still intact, unleashing a deadly shot that pierces through, making M feel the siblings' pain. Thus erupts a fierce clash between 2 super beasts. Monster 9 favors long-range strikes, but without success, it's nothing but a broken shell. Monster 8 closes in, unleashing a triple combo that lands with thunderous impact. The monster's defense, the wall of corpses, was meant to block its foes, but M won't allow even a moment's respite. Inside, it scrambles for an opening to retreat, but finds none. Fueled by rage, Kerr channels his fury and delivers a crushing punch that pierces through Monster 9's body. The beast shatters, exposing its atomic core. Before M can finish it off, reinforcements arrive. Reports of Monster 8's appearance spread, stirring concern. Kei Choru, searching for the mysterious figure, grows uneasy. The team's arrival is thanks to the shattered barrier once held by Monster 9. After M's devastating punch, Monster 9 recovers unexpectedly, vowing revenge. It fires at 2 soldiers, forcing M to shield them. As Monster 9 vanishes into the void, M retreats just ahead of the allies' arrival. Yet, rather than safety, he plunges into the heart of danger. Hina waits in ambush. This young warrior, a master of close combat, contrasts Mina's unmatched marksmanship. Kafka hesitates to unleash his full power, wary of harming teammates, making things complicated. The vice-captain strikes a few times at M, but the monster's resilience is unnerving. Serious now, M powers his suit to 92%, aiming to end Kafka. Seeing Hoshina's grim determination, Kafka is at a loss. Throwing a punch like battling a beast could mean death. Before making a move, his body is suddenly slashed without warning. Realizing that hesitation equals doom, Kafka scrambles to find an opening for a counterattack. Hoshina closes in relentlessly, pressing the assault. The battlefield becomes a dance of survival, where every strike carries the weight of life and death. In this crucible, Kafka's resolve hardened. She won't fall without a fight. The story swells with tension, echoing the eternal struggle between human will and monstrous fury. A flurry of high-speed slashes left Men Powerlesh's hardened body unable to keep up with this terrifying pace. He both blocked and dodged, yet somehow the vice-captain maintained this relentless speed. Kafka, watching Kikoru's movements from the start, had already felt a chill down his spine. But this godlike figure was a whole different level. Lone might question if he was even human. And so, the deadly game of cat and mouse began. But the chase couldn't last long before Men's defenses cracked, revealing a weakness. Hoshina spotted the monster's core nestled right in its heart and aimed to finish it off with a single strike. Meanwhile, the brother used the monster's own regenerative power to regrow a severed arm, though this drained his energy fiercely. At this rate, death was inevitable. Taking a bold risk, Men poured every ounce of his resolve into hardening his body to withstand the blow and escaped further. Hoshina was surprised despite his serious efforts. No extra damage was inflicted. According to him, monster number 8 was truly a beast beyond the 8pH0 scale. Any creature reaching such power was deemed a super beast. He elevated the strength of his twin swords to a new peak, their blades glowing red-hot. The slash unleashed was devastating, so fierce it sliced through Kafka's legs without even touching him. Kafka dodged the feint but realized it was only bait. The true strike came from Hoshina, aimed straight at the monster core. Just when victory seemed near, Kafka's mastery over his body's transformation blocked the strike with razor-sharp teeth sprouting from his flesh, unyielding and unbreakable. Hoshina couldn't withdraw his blade, caught in this deadly grip. Seizing the moment, our young hero landed a punch worth 1,000,000 points of power onto the vice captain's sword. The impact blew him far back, the force overwhelming. Men slipped away without a trace, leaving the survivors frustrated and disappointed for failing to capture monster number 8. This news was relayed to Kikoru, who felt a weight lift from her chest. Her mind swirled with thoughts about monster number 8. The day she was saved by that young man haunted her. This monster's absurd power, like Kafka's, made her question if she could still trust him. Men returned, utterly drained from healing as his monstrous form regrew severed limbs. Seeing him in this state eased Kikoru's worries. He apologized to her for failing to avenge her, having let the monster slip away. She brushed off his apology, promising she'd settle the score herself someday. When Kafka tried to check on Ichikawa and Yaru, Kikoru stopped him, insisting he focus on his own recovery first. Thankfully, the other two were stable, their defense force now equipped with the monster's regenerative abilities. This breakthrough explained how Kikoru could return to duty so swiftly, but men scolded them all for causing unnecessary trouble, especially fighting the vice-captain Hoshina. If he discovered anything about Kafka, it could spell disaster. Sitting alone, Hoshina brooded over the monster's escape, his usual cheerful grin replaced by a rare, somber silence. Mina, noticing Hoshina's gloom, was surprised and even tried to snap a photo to lighten the mood. The guy who's always grinning like a fool now looked genuinely down after letting such a monster slip through. Speaking of that monster's strength, Hoshina held it in high regard, but what truly intrigued him was its human-like thoughts and actions. Mina was taken aback after the disaster 5 years ago. This was the first super beast to show such traits. No victims had been claimed by monster number 8 yet, which eased some fears. Mina didn't care about classifications. Monsters were monsters, and they would be wiped out to bring peace back to humanity. Suddenly, urgent news arrived. The attacker of Ichu and Ichikawa was identified as the same monster that assaulted Kikoru at the academy. Taking human form, it posed as a captain and vice-captain, worrying the leaders. The government labeled it Monster Number 9. This creature was now searching for a place to rest, weakened after the battle. When someone crossed its path and tried to chase it off, the monster considered killing them. But since its cover was blown, it chose instead to consume the person, using their body as a host and even acquiring a vehicle for transportation. Hearing about itself, Monster Number 9 grew furious, eager to hunt down Kafka for revenge. Still unable to fully control its new body, it resolved to stay hidden a while longer. Back with Ichikawa, now awake in the hospital, he was visited by the others. Though glad to see them, he felt sorrow, knowing his brother had to reveal himself because of him. He thanked them for saving him, leaving Yaru and the others speechless. Then, they noticed his friend was also there. Yaru asked why he was thanking them. Luckily, Kikoru was present to smoothly deflect suspicion. This young man was skilled but not very sharp, so no one doubted him. He was curious about monster number 8, praising its overwhelming strength. The punch that sent monster number 9's head flying was especially impressive. Kafka basked in the compliments, while Kikoru, jealous yet trying to hide it, accidentally revealed her true feelings again. That very night, the two youths were discharged. The celebration wasn't just about recovery, it marked the successful completion of their first mission. But Kafka felt something off. Everyone was flaunting fancy gear, and the poor kids were just amazed at the mention of gourmet meat. It turned out Haruchi had arranged this feast, insisting on treating everyone well. Men had no idea that this little brother was actually a high-class noble. Kikoru was dumbfounded. The boy was the heir to the richest family in the defense force, son of the top weapons and armor manufacturer. That's why she'd asked him to pick a place where everyone could enjoy a real meal. Men could only hope for the same. Meanwhile, the younger sister had asked Haruchi to organize this as well. The vice-captain then announced their first mission had been a success. Rarely did the team get to relax like this, so tonight was theirs to enjoy. The festivities began, Ichikawa never imagining such a day would come. Hina hinted this was only the beginning. Many more thrilling challenges awaited. Fueled by a little alcohol, the group bickered playfully, much to Ichikawa's amusement. They'd grown close, especially Kafka, the group's resident prankster. He joked with Haruchi, asking if his armor had a faulty design that only allowed 1% power activation. Everyone burst into laughter, the room alive with joy. Haruchi, a familiar face at the tavern, was asked about his father news from past events, confirmed his father was still around, a reassuring detail in their turbulent world. Before even talking to the manager, I thought I'd never see the young master again, but fate smiled today. They booked a table here, and by chance I overheard their conversation. I pretended not to notice, because he's not the type to pry into others' affairs. Soon after, Vice Captain Hoshina brought them great news specially for Kafka, who had earned a major achievement on a mission. Kafka was officially accepted as a full-fledged soldier. Everyone welcomed him warmly to the 3rd Squad of the Defense Force. Seeing this moment, I hoped none of us would fall to the monsters ahead. The next day, Mina pinned the official badge on Kafka. He looked shy and tried to leave, but she reminded him not to grow complacent if he wanted to fight alongside them. Kafka still had a long way to go. Hearing this, I felt joy knowing she remembered her promise. Soon she'd be away studying for a few days, leaving Hina in charge. If anything happened, Kafka was to seek him out. Honestly, thanks to Hoshina's support during the selection rounds, Mina became a reserve soldier, which shocked him. That night, Kafka stayed up grinding and accidentally discovered someone else doing the same. Curious, he watched and realized it was Vice Captain Hoshina, who was recreating every combat technique they'd used against each other, transforming into a monster to imagine an invisible opponent. It was surreal, and honestly, I was terrified, collapsing under the weight of this man's dedication. When asked what he was doing, Hoshina explained he was preparing to kill the 8th monster, which Kafka had scouted earlier but let slip away. He wanted to finish it swiftly next time. Stepping up to fight the super monsters was Hoshina's way to protect everyone. He refused to let anyone die to the 8th or 9th creatures. So, that responsibility fell squarely on his shoulders. Kafka admired this deeply and vowed to give his all. Hoshina teased him about his strength, saying even if Kafka tried his hardest, it might still be nothing. Still, he was genuinely excited to see Kafka's upcoming performance with his power. Hoshina, meanwhile, was relaxing, reflecting on the 8th monster fight. It felt more like battling a human than a beast. And to top it off, Ichikawa and Ihu reported the 9th monster might have a terrifying monologue ability, giving him a headache trying to understand what was wrong with these creatures. Our squad was feeling down, stuck under the shadow of the first-tier power. Thinking of his promise to Hoshina, Kafka felt a pang of helplessness. With his current strength, he couldn't help much in battle, so he had to steel himself and study harder to support his comrades with knowledge. Returning to rest, the monster's warning Kamiya storm was about to fall from the sky. At first glance, it looked like meteorites raining down, but the truth was far more terrifying, a horde of monsters descending directly on the Defense Force base. Luckily, the warriors sleeping on lower floors was safer, and there was no heavy damage. Hina was also informed about the invasion, but this wasn't the worst news they would face. The combat power of every monster invading the base was above 6.0, marking them as elite monsters extremely difficult to defeat. Mina wasn't present at the base, so this was the worst-case scenario for the Defense Force. The Vice Captain immediately stood ready, gathering all the warriors in the base to confront the threat. What he hadn't realized yet was that these monsters were targeting only the base itself. From his vantage point high above, Kafka grasped the full scene and unraveled the mystery. He recognized those flying beasts as Wyvern Dragons, a shock considering what was known about them. These creatures are proud loners, never coordinating. Yet here they were, attacking in packs. He quickly connected with the deputy leader to report this anomaly. Usually, only about 10 wyverns appear nationwide each year, but now over a dozen were assaulting their base. These arrogant creatures fight solo, oblivious to teamwork. So why now were they attacking in 7 coordinated groups? Hina's side had an answer when the monstrous commander of this horde showed up. The deputy leader realized only a powerful force could control so many beasts. This monster had to be formidable. He asked a question that stunned everyone. Are you the strongest here at the base? The creature resembled number 9. The deputy ordered another squad leader to lead the charge against the wyverns, leaving him to handle this super monster. With a snap of his fingers, he nearly destroyed an entire building. Thankfully, as the best close combat fighter in Squad 3, he dodged 2 deadly blows. Facing the Crimson Beast, he longed for a thrilling duel. With a roar that shook the heavens, he rallied his men to launch an all-out assault on the Defense Force's base. Witnessing the wyvern's reaction, everyone realized these monsters truly lived and fought in packs of 7. The deputy leader faced relentless attacks. Each punch could have been fatal. But it didn't stop there. This monster seemed invincible, its body far tougher than monster number 8. Each strike was met with a metallic clang that left Hoshina helpless. Other squad members struggled too, as the wyvern's thick hides were impervious to their weapons. One was tough enough, but now they fought 7. The situation grew dire. Then, CFC connected with them, guiding their strategy to defeat the wyverns. Drawing from basic knowledge, they learned to target the soft spot on the creature's back since their fronts were nearly impenetrable. Hearing their elder's voice, the team's spirits lifted. After cracking this tough puzzle, the squad leader thanked the elder deeply and split forces, one group to distract the monsters, the others to strike the vulnerable rear. Nearby, Ai and Haruchi teamed up to trap one of the beasts. Ao, stronger than most, held the front line to lure the monster, while Haruchi used speed and precision to slip behind it. Just when things seemed under control, Haruchi was ambushed by another monster. These creatures operated in pairs, supporting each other, a tactic taught by the red monster. Once again, the defense forces found themselves in a pinch. At that critical moment, their trump card emerged. Kikoru, armed with a new weapon, confident she could take down the beasts. Only someone like her could pull off this move, charging straight for the hardest part of the monster's body. If it was too tough, she'd overpower it with sheer force and make it vulnerable. Earlier, the captain and deputy had summoned Kikoru, trusting her enough to equip a special weapon usually reserved for squad leaders. With monster activity increasing, they promoted her to 3rd strongest at the base, tailoring the weapon to her fighting style. This boosted her confidence and unlocked new power. No need to waste energy on weak spots, Kikoru struck wherever she pleased. As the wyverns attacked, she unleashed a lightning skill from her new weapon, shattering one beast to pieces. Another monster lunged but was sliced clean through by a water slash, leaving her comrades in awe. Then a third dropped from above. Ichikawa shot an ice bullet, forcing it down, a clear sign he was growing stronger. She returned the favor with a crescent cut, slicing the beast's head off. Recognizing his value as a strong ally, Kikoru invited him to join her. He agreed instantly, knowing following her meant reaching the elder faster. Ao and Haruchi, hearing the news of their sweeping success, found renewed spirit. They had already defeated 2 monsters. The defense force's situation was stabilizing. Meanwhile, the deputy leader brought the super monster to the arena for a showdown. It unleashed a flurry of attacks. Hoshina noticed the creature's excitement when the attacks were dodged, a strange emotion for a beast. Inside, a teammate opened a gate for Hoshina. The gate that once imprisoned their monsters was warped easily by this creature. The deputy leader, caught off guard, was struck but managed to lessen the blow by severing the monster's arm mid-fight. He'd held back his full power earlier, fearing collateral damage, but now, inside the arena, he unleashed his full strength, activating his 92% power state. On the other side, a teammate was pushed by a wyvern into danger. Kafka saw this and transformed his legs into a beast form to leap to the rescue just in time. Minaj, saved, was shocked. He had thought Kafka was the weakest in the Legion. When asked if he'd unlocked his full power, Kafka just smiled wryly. As they became targets, Kikoru and other fierce warriors arrived. Ichikawa advised the elder not to act recklessly anymore. They and Kikoru were there now. Everyone was growing stronger. Kafka no longer needed to transform to protect them. Watching their friends take down 2 monsters at once, the weaker members felt reassured. Their mission now was to find and rescue the wounded from the battlefield. Reinforcements arrived in full force, helping the defense regain their home turf. Meanwhile, Hoshina's battle intensified. He declared to the beast that it had mistaken him for someone else. He was the best close combat fighter here and would prove victorious. The red monster grew excited, initially thinking Hoshina exploited its vulnerabilities. But after activating his 92% power, Hoshina sliced through its armor with ease. When the supermonster realized this, it was shredded into pieces. Yet its core nucleus remained intact and began to regenerate. Unlike other monsters, it recovered quickly and grew even more aggressive, thrilled to face a worthy rival. It acknowledged the deputy leader as a true enemy and unleashed a barrage of powerful punches. More seasoned warriors arrived. Ichikawa warned his senior not to rush recklessly. He and Kikoru stood ready. Everyone was growing stronger. Kafka no longer needed to shift into monstrous form to aid them. Watching comrades fell 2 monsters side by side, the weaker ones found relief. Their mission now, rescue the wounded from the bloodied battlefield. Reinforcements flooded in, bolstering defenses and reclaiming home turf. Yet the fiercest clash raged around Hoshina, who declared the beast had mistaken him for prey. In close combat, he claimed supremacy, vowing victory over the red monster. The creature, initially confident, thought Hoshina exploited its weak spots. But the truth was far sharper. Unleashing 92% of his power, Hoshina sliced through armor like paper. The super beast's realization came too late, shattered into fragments. Yet its core remained intact, swiftly regenerating. Unlike Kafka's foe, this monster's revival cost no strength. It grew more aggressive, thrilled to face an equal adversary. It grudgingly acknowledged Hoshina as a worthy rival. Fierce punches flew back and forth. Hoshina's blade continued dismantling the beast. In doing so, he pinpointed its core nestled deep within. The creature's thin hide explained why prior strikes missed. With target locked, Hoshina delivered a final blow, igniting cheers among the tech team until they realized the monster wasn't finished yet. Its power surged, inflicting brutal pain on the Soldier 7 in human form. This red beast concealed a deadly strength beneath its facade. Hina gawked as the monster morphed into a colossal mass of flesh, inhaling deeply and radiating scorching heat that forced him back. Evolution was underway. Harsh lesson for the defense forces. Monsters above 8% combat capability could transform into gargantuan forms, boasting strength of 9% or more. This was the fiercest foe they'd faced in years, the arch-nemesis of Hoshina, who struggled against hulking beasts. A deafening roar signaled the true battle had just begun. Kafka senses the vice, Captain's impending death, and rushes to aid him. Despite relentless bone-crushing punches from the giant monster, the young man dodges and strikes back. Yet, his attacks barely scratch the monster's thick armor, his sword too tiny against the beast's massive form, only lightly irritating the fearsome number 10. This is more a game than a fight. Confident the rival can't deliver a killing blow, the monster pushes on. Meanwhile, Hoshina slowly adapts to his gargantuan body, desperately hacking at one spot with no success. No wonder he hates these giant monsters so much. The situation worsens as his suit begins to overload, his maximum power usage capped at 20 minutes from activation, and more than 10 minutes have already passed. His partner inside urges him to stop, warning the suit's strain could endanger him, but he refuses. If he quits now, who will face the monster? Number 10 launches waves of suicide attacks with flying dragons, detonating massive explosions. Seizing a chance while vision's obscured, Hoshina climbs a tall building to target the beast's vulnerable back. Yet, the monster is cunning, aware of its limited sight and guarding behind. The clash ends with Hoshina being blasted through several buildings, alarming onlookers inside. Dizzy and dazed, he recalls his father's old advice to quit the defense force. If he'd been born in the Edo era, he'd be a prodigy, but now, in this age of guns, sword users like him are relics of the past. His armor heals him, but his powers drop to 92 pH0, focusing on defense. Despite near-zero odds, the vice-captain fights to hold the line a little longer. The number 10 monster has found a new target. Hoshina dodges expertly and strikes with masterful moves, yet the beast recovers as if untouched each time. The flying dragons keep charging in suicidal attacks, inflicting pain on Hoshina. Everyone urges him to give up. His gun power is too weak, and monsters only grow larger in this era. Still, he won't abandon his swordsmanship. Then one day, Captain Mina summons Hoshina. Unlike others, she deeply values his talent and offers him the role of her right hand. Though she wields enough firepower herself, she needs a swordsman to form the perfect pair. Recently, she entrusted him with the base, and Hoshina vows to protect it till his last breath, determined not to let the captain's faith be in vain. With resolve burning in his eyes, the vice-captain climbs once more, ready to face the nightmare and carve his legend into this brutal battlefield. The monster's wounds deepened with each slash, but it was still not enough. Its Achilles heel lay just beyond reach, right behind its shoulder blades. Hoshina, the resilient young warrior, couldn't close in. Monster number 10 let the young man land a few blows before seizing his small frame. This scene struck Menz deeply, stirring a storm of worry within him. It was now or never. Kafka was ready to transform, desperate to save his kind-hearted squad leader. Suddenly, a familiar voice called out Ichikawa, trying to stop his elder brother, knowing how much he values his comrades' lives above all else. Only when Mina's voice connected with the entire team did Kafka pause. Hoshina sensed this too, smiling as he told monster number 10, "This battle is ours." Just then, Mina's powerful cannonball tore through the air, blasting off the monster's arm. Thanks to this, squad leader Hoshina broke free, while the beast howled in agony. His mission was a success, clearing the path for the captain's return. Monster number 10 fixed its gaze on Mina, recognizing her as the strongest warrior of Squad 3. The next shot flew this time, the monster dodged. But Mina's white tiger armor stood firm, absorbing the recoil with unwavering loyalty. The winged dragon moved swiftly to block her attacks, trying to hinder her assault. The beast's regenerative power remained alarmingly high. The control room informed the captain its core might be hidden beneath its shoulder. Hoshina took a breath, feeling his strength return as his battlesuit cooled down. He activated 63% of his combat power. His target? The monster's incredible agility and evasion skills. He aimed for the vulnerable spots on its legs only. By weakening these could Mina strike the final blow. The monster healed as fast as it was cut, but this time, Hoshina was not alone. The third strongest warrior, Kikoru, arrived to back up his senior, though her mighty axe stroke barely left a scratch on the beast. The power gap was staggering. Unlike Hoshina's sharp weapons, Kikoru's axe needed leverage. Recognizing this, the squad leader created openings by targeting the monster's exposed wounds, allowing his fierce junior to strike with full force again. The impact was massive, causing monster number 10 to falter. Yet, this was all she could do. The battlesuit had reached its limit and overheated. Hoshina silently thanked Kikoru for her relentless spirit. Their captain took position, ready for the finishing strike. Mina unleashed a devastating first blast, stripping away the outer armor to reveal the core and skeletal frame beneath. Another winged dragon rushed in to block. The rest of the team moved in to support the squad leader. Seizing the moment, the monster rose again, enduring a barrage of shots that barely fazed it. Only 2 warriors could truly harm it. So Hoshina dove back into the fray, bloodied but unyielding. Exhausted yet driven, he pushed himself to move, thinking only of buying precious seconds. 5 seconds would be enough. Together with his comrades, he disrupted the monster's healing. Their struggle was a testament to the existence of the swordsman, though their time seemed past. The squad leader still led the charge, opening the way forward. As the monster prepared to swallow him whole, the victory shot was fired. Mina poured every ounce of strength into this final blast, grateful for a squad leader like Hoshina, who fought at 96% combat power. The moment the bullet struck, monster number 10 exploded into fragments. Seeing this, the defense forces could finally breathe, their exhaustion melting into joyous relief. Mina confirmed the core was gone. Descending, Hoshina joined Kikoru to boost her morale. Her fierce fighting spirit had shifted the tide. Clearing out the winged dragons was also part of her contribution. Witnessing the 3 strongest warriors unite, Kafka couldn't hold back tears. This was the scene he'd dreamed of since childhood. These heroes, battle-scarred yet unbroken, greeted each other in victorious camaraderie. Ichikawa joked about pulling back, teasing Kafka's fierce expression. "This is just the beginning, let's keep pushing forward together." Meanwhile, the squad leader wanted to finish off the remaining monsters, but Mina tapped his head, telling him to rest, already broken several bones. Other squad leaders arrived, urging their captain to recover. They could handle the rest. Suddenly, Mina's white tiger sensed something, growling as it gazed skyward. Panic spread as they realized the monster's legacy was growing. The remaining winged dragons gathered at monster number 10's body, forming a terrifying atomic bomb. It wasn't dead yet. In a last, desperate plea, it told Hoshina their match was a draw. The bomb's destructive power equaled 20,000 tons of explosives. Their shots only sped up the countdown. Kafka charged toward the bomb, shocking everyone. Only Ichikawa understood his intent, shouting warnings to stop him. Hoshina tried to intercept but couldn't catch up. At that critical moment, the squad leader seemed to understand everything. He transformed before their eyes into monster number 8. Reports came in of another ultra-powerful monster appearing at the center. But no one cared anymore. They had all witnessed Kafka's transformation. His power level soared to an unimaginable 9.8. Hoshina had sensed something strange about Kafka from the start but dismissed it, overwhelmed by his kindness. Now, Kafka silently apologized to the squad leader and everyone for betraying their trust. Past promises could no longer be kept. In that pivotal moment, the vice captain's revelation struck. He had truly become monster number 8 before everyone's eyes. News of another terrifying creature emerging at the city center faded in importance, all eyes fixed on Kafka's transformation. His current power rating soared to an unimaginable 9.8. At first, Hoshina sensed something strange about Kafka, but those doubts dissolved the closer he came. Kafka's kindness was undeniable. He silently apologized to the vice-captain and all who had trusted him, confessing his betrayal. Promises once made now shattered beyond repair. Ichikawa's bitter gaze met his transformed brother's. "Do you even know what you're doing?" he asked. Mina, overhearing, realized they'd uncovered Kafka's true identity. Monster number 8 and was shaken. Kafka spoke little, unleashing a roar that shook the heavens, determined to change fate and save everyone. This time, Kafka wanted to be the hero no matter what came after. The explosive power of monster number 8 blasted him skyward like a rocket. Though a monster, he remained a member of Defense Force Team 3. This resolve fueled a devastating punch that blew the super monster's bomb into the stratosphere. His body plummeted earthward. Mina urged everyone to activate maximum armor. The bomb exploded far below, obliterating nearly everything in the city. Only Kafka stood tall, shielding his comrades. When the dust settled, gratitude was expressed through barrels aimed at him. An ironic salute. Kafka, the bitterest soul, was labeled Monster Number 8 by Mina. his limbs shattered, immobile still, risking all at his age. Crazy? Maybe, but thankfully, the nightmare ended with no lives lost. He stood tall, shielding his comrades until the very end, only to be met with cold barrels pointed straight at him as thanks. The bitterest sting. Mina calling Kafka the eighth monster, not even his name, just a label. His limbs felt numb, unable to move. At his age, still pulling these reckless stunts, it's almost laughable. But thankfully, it's over now, and no lives were lost. When the eighth monster was identified as Kafka, an urgent meeting was called filled with high-ranking officers of the Defense Force, led by Kikoru's father. Old man Choku suggested wiping Kafka out immediately for research, while others wondered if this young man might become humanity's living weapon. Meanwhile, Mr. Gu insisted on running a thorough test first. So, Squad 3 was tasked with escorting the eighth monster to a cold, lonely, empty cell. Kafka's condition made those above question. Is he truly a monster? The isolation blurred his sense of time, leaving him lost in a limbo of uncertainty what fate awaited him. The worst-case scenario, as Kikoru feared, was to simply give up on this life. The Defense Force sought to wield him as a weapon. They thought they were one step closer to Mina, but fate twisted cruelly. Just as those thoughts passed, Mina and others arrived, ready to transfer him somewhere better, perhaps to the underworld itself. Kafka's apology to the deputy squad leader was met with a sharp rebuke, silence and strict obedience. Every step he took grew heavier, weighed down by the belief that everyone despised him for being a monster. And maybe they should hate him after all. Who here hasn't lost someone to those creatures? Stepping outside, Kafka found all Squad 3 members gathered, the air icy and silent. The sorrow in the atmosphere kept him from raising his head. No words were spoken, everything followed protocol. Just as they were about to board the vehicle, Ichikawa, the younger brother, finally broke the silence. "I'll wait for you to come back, senpai." The shock hit hard. How could he return now, labeled a monster? Only when the two were left alone did Mina speak up, revealing the truth behind the cold axe: fear of surveillance. No one in Squad 3 hated him. Mina was there to convey the team's true feelings. They were all trying to save him. They refused to condemn him to death. Mina still saw Kafka as the older brother who once dared to face danger to protect them all. Statements supporting Kafka's case were being gathered. Hearing this, his spirits lifted. Sitting quietly, Kafka asked if he still had a chance to stay by her side. She softly replied, "I'm always waiting for you," as tears of joy welled and fell. That answer from their captain warmed Mina's heart. Outside, Ichikawa and the others continued watching over their comrade. The deputy squad leader gave a salute, surprising the higher-ups. "What's going on?" they asked. "We're just greeting our captain," came the reply. Saying hello monster might have gotten them all in trouble. Later, Mina was transferred to a secure treatment zone far from civilian areas. Back with Squad 3, those closest to Kafka wore heavy hearts as their brother-in-arms departed, each knowing this mission was fraught with peril. Ichikawa tried to lift the mood, but the weight remained. Even the girl saved by Kafka before couldn't help but feel sorrow for him, a man who risked everything to save others while searching for their weak points. Yaru gave his all against the monsters, barely surviving thanks to the sudden appearance of monster number 8. Ao declared that they were not the ones to decide his fate, but Commander Haruchi was fully aware of the gravity of the situation. Every detail of this incident had to remain a secret. If the public learned that monsters could disguise themselves as humans, fear would consume everyone. You never know if a monster might be hiding inside someone close to you. Meanwhile, Mina was wrapping up gathering crucial evidence to save an important comrade. She entrusted it to her friend to continue compiling proof. Hoshina stared toward Kafka's imprisonment, while the squad leader came to ask about their friend's fate. No one knew for sure, only this. If their jovial senior didn't return, it would be a devastating loss for Squad 3 on the battlefield. Kafka was the fastest and most reliable source of information, eager to face their foe again. Kikoru, on the other hand, was determined to save that person, to repay the life debt. She approached her father, Commander Haruchi, but there was no fatherly affection in his role-only duty. She begged him to withdraw the death sentence for her senior, for it was that very person's help that kept her alive until now. But Haruchi scolded his daughter as foolish, insisting all evidence pointed to Kafka being a monster. After reviewing the footage, Mina realized there was no beating heart, inside only the monstrous core, identical to the one that killed Kikoru's mother years ago. She asked, "Do you still want to save that man?" Kikoru replied, "I still believe in him." Meanwhile, Men was undergoing constant physical checks. Of course, he could escape by transforming into a monster, but that would be signing his death warrant. The next day, Mina summoned the 4 strongest rookies to inform them of their transfer squad. 3's base had been 75% destroyed, leaving no place to train. She needed these 4 to grow stronger, fast, then return to support the team leader. Mina sensed it was no coincidence that monsters 9 and 10 attacked here. Darker days were surely ahead. If these 4 didn't become stronger, survival would be impossible. Ichikawa was the first to agree to the transfer. He needed strength to protect his seniors. This choice surprised Yaru, who expected him to stay and wait for Kafka's return. The other 2 were suspicious, wondering if Mina feared their closeness to MH and forced the transfer. Mina explained firmly, this decision came from the higher-ups and had nothing to do with their senior. That afternoon, Haruchi hesitated to call for help to rescue Kafka just then. Ao reached out to someone above, pleading for aid. This was surprising a quiet soul like Ao begging like never before. As at the previous party, he refused to lose anyone in Squad 3, seeing Kafka not as a monster but a comrade. Meanwhile, Men told himself he must prove his humanity, just as Mina had instructed. At that moment, Commander Yagao arrived to deliver the execution order. Men pleaded that he was not a monster. Yagao ordered his release, knowing that detention was useless if Men truly wanted, he could escape any time. At first, it seemed Yagao might listen, but moments later he mercilessly shot him. Thankfully, Men reacted in time, using monster flesh to shield himself, a grim confirmation that he was indeed a monster. He was then cruelly tortured. After extracting monster blood, Kafka still insisted he was human. Yagao wanted to test Men's resolve. If he was human, he should die like one. If a monster, fight and perish like the rest. Yagao's weapon was unique, not guns or blades, but his bare fists. Men was caught off guard and lost an arm. Yagao's power was monstrous. He was once hailed as the strongest in the defense force. Men was slammed against the ceiling, forced to transform for survival. The battle continued, but the odds were overwhelmingly against him. Men resisted, fighting back, knowing retaliation meant losing his humanity. His aim was to buy time, exhaust the old man, but that hope was crushed. Yagao's speed and power far exceeded Men's transformed state. Just one direct hit would be lethal. Limbs were shattered relentlessly, regeneration unable to keep pace with Yagao's assault. Kikoru watched anxiously, feeling like she was witnessing a duel with a super monster. Men realized the weapons on Yagao's hands were forged from a super monster, the terrifying monster number 2, infamous for raising almost all of Sapporo. That monster was arrogant to the end, refusing to yield even in death. Its remains were forged into weapons, usable only by their commander. Men's body was ravaged. One more hit meant certain death. Looking down, he was shocked to see his legs gone. To avoid death, he fully transformed into monster number 8. Yagao smiled grimly. Men's monstrous true form was revealed. Kikoru felt something was wrong. Indeed, control over his body was slipping. Now dominated by Monster 8, he had never felt so threatened. The beast's power was surging, but surprisingly, Monster 8 seemed intent on killing the monster, not the human inside. Perhaps it was because Yagao wielded super monster weapons, triggering this reaction. Men's monstrous form lunged at terrifying speed, attacking Yagao. Kikoru screamed for her senior to wake up. If he fought, all their efforts would vanish, returning to square one. Meanwhile, Squad 3 anxiously awaited news. Ichikawa threw himself into training, masking deep worry. He said transferring was the best way to grow strong fast, not wanting to be the one always protected by his senior, but instead standing as his shield. Yaru shared the same feeling. His life had been saved too many times. Now was the time to break his limits. Senior members announced that today would bring Kafka's verdict, making everyone restless. Their friend remained hopeful, believing their joint petition would save him. The tension was thick, but hope flickered in the air. If you've ever felt powerless like these characters, take a breath and remember, sometimes what we need isn't strength, but someone who believes in us just once. Even in chaos, anime offers a sanctuary for our wounded souls. So, if you find yourself torn between forgiveness and revenge, between light and darkness, ask yourself, what would you choose? And if you're lost in life's labyrinth, may this story remind you, even the smallest light can guide the way. Thanks for sharing this journey with me. She was also summoned to headquarters, and if anything happened, she would report back immediately. Mina was called but not allowed inside to witness the battle. She had to wait here for the outcome. At this moment, the monstrous number 8 charged forward with terrifying speed. It attacked with weapons forged from monster number 2, and since the body was currently controlled by the monster, its strikes were gruesome. It twisted and tore its own flesh just to unleash a surprise blow at Commander Waidao. This was something Kafka never expected, relying on rapid regeneration to perform a self-destructive strike. The commander was pinned down, beaten like a tattered quilt. Fortunately, Monster 2's shield absorbed most of the damage. He retaliated with a powerful blow that sent number 8 flying. Using the sonic blast, number 2 expanded its attack range, a signature move. But that attack was nullified when Number 8 used a cicada escape technique, removing its core from its body before the hit landed. This wild, instinctive combat revealed how deeply Number 8 understood its own form. The clash of these two titans shattered part of the base, known for resisting M-class monster threats. Despite the devastation, it still withstood the destruction from these two forces. This was a battle transcending time between Number 2 and Number 8. Kikoru, of course, knew his old man was strong, but to stand toe-to-toe with such a super monster, unbelievable. Another point was that if Commander Wydao truly wanted to kill Kafka, he would have done so from the start, but he didn't. This showed that Commander Gu was giving Number 8 a chance. They charged into a hand-to-hand duel, but the commander's human legs couldn't match the monster's strength. He leapt back and struck from the air, but the damage wasn't enough to threaten Number 8, who then delivered a heavy counterattack. The reason? Number 8 had shifted into its ultimate form, with red muscles and sinews instead of blue. This state symbolized rage and a deadly resolve to kill Commander Wydao right here. Inside, Ka understood the gravity. Struggling to rise, the commander launched multiple powerful skills but was still knocked back. Min's roar alone was enough to trouble the opponent instantly. He was captured just like that. The monster crushed a legend, tossing the commander like a shredded blanket. Kafka's gaze locked on Kikoru, who was deeply worried for his father. That worry infused Kafka with strength. He couldn't let his father's men fall to him. The girl had cried before, saying she would destroy Kafka if he harmed the innocent. But seeing Mikuru's radiant face, still trusting, she shouted to stop her brother. Inside he screamed, pouring all his willpower into breaking free, yet the bug inside him bit viciously, swallowing him whole, and Ka sank into despair once more. At that moment, the image of the girl he always chased appeared, reaching out with distant memories. The promise with Mina gave Ka new hope, just as Number 8 readied to finish off the commander. He felt a pang of sadness for having trusted this person. Unexpectedly, Number 8 didn't attack him anymore, but instead plunged into its own chest, destroying its core. Only this way could Kafka prove he was truly human. This shocked everyone. After self-destruction, Ka collapsed, overwhelmed by the weight of what had just unfolded. His wounds were grave, so severe that the moment his body reverted to human form, another captain lunged forward, ready to strike his throat, but Commander Yagao stopped him. Narumi, wielding a weapon forged from the Number 1 monster, was no ordinary foe. The attacker mistook Yagao's calm for a death wish beneath the claws of a fierce beast. Yet, Yagao summoned the medical team to treat Kafka's injuries because the heart beneath that chest had been deeply wounded. Soon after, a high-level meeting resumed with Mina's presence. They sought her insight on Kafka, or rather, the infamous Number 8 monster. Of course, her words couldn't sway their decisions. It was revealed that the two had known each other since childhood. Still, the brutal recruitment exams showed no mercy, failing anyone familiar, including Kafka. Standing as the vice-captain, Hoshina spoke candidly about Kafka's character as a team member. During a tracking mission in Sagamihara, Kafka discovered the monster's reproductive ability. He tirelessly aided his comrades and saved many lives. Most recently, he risked everything to punch away a bomb from the terrifying Number 10 monster, saving an entire city. Some claimed his feats were thanks to the monster's power, not his own. Mina added that Kafka had failed to join their ranks 12 times once every year for 12 straight years. Yet, his determination to become a soldier never wavered. That burning resolve told her everything. Kafka was a fighter, a soul who refused to surrender. His spirit had been forged from childhood losses and pain. Mina was heartbroken, comforted only by Kage and her own conviction. She trusted that man deeply, no matter what anyone else said. The commander then ordered her to step back. Everyone here wanted Kafka executed except for Commander Yagao. He argued that the sudden surge of super monsters might be the ominous herald of a greater war. They needed a new pillar of strength to defend their forces. Kafka lay in a cage, receiving treatment. Once stable, he awoke to find Kikoru's father nearby. The young man was shocked. He thought Kafka feared him, but it was the opposite. Kafka feared hurting the man, because then he could never face Kikoru again. These heartfelt words surprised the commander, who asked about Kafka's fate. Pointing to the wound on his chest, he said if inside lay a fragile human heart, Kafka would already be dead. Their verdict was clear. Kafka was a monster. The news devastated him, but Yagao revealed there was still hope. After delivering his ruling to use the Number 8 monster as a weapon, many opposed this unprecedented move. Yet, for commander and win of the country, it mattered more than anything. No one could forget the disaster caused by the Number 6 monster. A decade ago, over 200 guards and 3 captains lost their lives, including his wife. The current monster outbreak could topple the nation at any moment. Harnessing the power of the number 8 monster might just turn the tide. Still, opposition remained fierce. So the next steps rested on Kafka proving his worth. He was now seen as a weapon, but this was his only chance. He vowed not to disappoint the commander. Even now, he still saw himself as a soldier. With that said, he rolled over and fell asleep, leaving the commander to sit and call him awake for a talk. Outside, Mina received the news with overwhelming relief. Kikoru's smile bloomed bright as Kafka's survival spread among them all. Even Ihu was more joyful than Ichikawa, though outwardly calm.